Hey guys, Sarah Pacaro. I wanted to share with you some information today on anxiety and the relationship with a narcissist. If they are in your past, in your present, or have to be a part of your future. They cause a lot of situations that cause you to experience anxiety. I know this from personal experience, and I want to just share some information about this with you and how anxiety shows up in your life, the different ways. So what comes to mind when you think about anxiety? And generally it comes to mind is all of the things, right? The constant need for reassurance. If you've been with a narcissist, you notice that they experience anxiety, and you do as well. And there's constant need for reassurance. And what that feels like is not trusting your own experience, not trusting one's own opinion. So we all have thoughts, beliefs, opinions, ideas. But when you have anxiety, you don't trust your own opinions, your own thoughts, your own judgments, and you check on others frequently. And so you're asking, well, what do you think? What do you think I should do? Because you're feeling this anxiety, and it's a feeling of unease, it's a feeling of worry, and you're not sure, right? You're just constantly second guessing, questioning yourself, and then it leads to rumination, this ruminating detrimental thoughts, and this tendency to dwell on the negative thoughts. We all have thoughts, and you can label them as positive or negative. And notice that when you have anxiety, it has you ruminate on the negative thoughts, on the what if thoughts, and spiral down and dwell on, connect with past mistakes. So you think maybe they were right, because in the past I did do this, I was crazy, but I know I'm not crazy, but I did some crazy things and I know this. So what if this happens, what if that happens? And anxiety has you ruminate and dwell, and it just feels like this loop in the spiral that never ever ends. And then you notice you have this tendency to be a people pleaser, because you don't want the anxiety, and you feel like if the only way to get rid of the anxiety is to be happy and to make it stop, make all these negative people or experiences stop. And you think, well, okay, the opposite of that is to please, right? Or you have this fear of driving people away because it's fear of being alone, and so you don't want to be alone, and you don't want to push people away. You want them to be in your life, so you become this people pleaser and this yes person, and then that can cause a lot of anxiety, because inside you really want to say no, because you have this feeling, this intuition that this thing or whatever it is that you're agreeing to is not good for you. You don't want to do it, and you don't know why you agree to things that you don't want to do. But if you look underneath the surface, it's this fear of letting other people down and this fear of being alone. So that creates these decisions or functionings or thoughts that I need to say yes, I need to do this, and agreeing to things that you really don't want to do. And you look at that in the connection to being a people pleaser, and that is a trauma response. It's called fawning. I talk a lot about that, and it is something that happens automatically in your brain when you've experienced a life of compounded trauma. And what that does is cause mental fatigue, it causes physical fatigue, you even see it and feel it in your body, right? Your muscles get really tense. You may notice your shoulders are always up like this, and it feels really hard to even take a deep breath or go and just allow your shoulders to drop down and just relax. Like, you may not even know what relax feels like, but it sounds like, oh, I'd really like to be able to do that. How do you do that? How does one relax? And it leads to burnout, and it leads to constantly like spiraling and feeling that you have no control of your life. So this mental and physical fatigue, that's how you know you're experiencing anxiety. Nervous chatter. I used to do this all the time when I was in the narcissistic relationship. Thank God for the friends that I did have, and it wasn't a lot, because the narcissist likes to isolate you. But the friends that you do have, you talk and talk and talk and talk, and it's nervous chatter. I would often leave being with friends for sometimes days if we go on trips or adventures or go on a hike, and I would get home and realize I spent the whole time talking about nothing, talking about the ex, talking about the last thing that he did. I was nervous, and I was just, and then I felt bad. I felt like I didn't even get to know my friends. I didn't listen to them. I would ask them a question and then I would immediately start talking to fill this void and didn't get to know them. And then, of course, that leads to feeling more guilt, more shame, more anxiety, more of all of those things. So anxiety will show up as nervous chatter, where you're just talking to talk to fill this void, this empty silence, this space that makes you really uncomfortable because you're used to that experience with a narcissist. If they're quiet, they're up to something. And you always want to know what they're up to because you know that they're up to no good. Well, that's a lot of time and energy wasted. But you notice this shows up in your life with this anxiety. And it also leads to the inability to say no to others and feeling that you're spread too thin, the inability to focus and concentrate on things. When you have this anxiety, it leads to an overloaded schedule, a schedule of constantly being busy, and you want more than anything to just and to relax and be present and enjoy the moment and do the things that you know that when you do will fill your cup, take time for you, engage in self-care. But that seems like such a foreign, far-off concept and idea because of this inability to say no to others. And that's what anxiety leads you to doing, is saying yes when you mean to say no. It leads to the tendency to compare yourself to others, always looking at others and comparing yourselves and seeing your deficits, your faults in comparison to them. No one has a perfect life. There is no such thing. But you may find that you're on social media or, going through Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is, and seeing what other people post and comparing your life to theirs. And people post their highlight reel. It's just what humans do. No one's going to go, my life is shit. Look. Right? I mean, some people do, and be cautious of those people because they're stuck in victim role, and you don't want to give too much time or energy being a victim yourself. It holds space for yourself to feel that. But if you notice that you're relying on social media and the accounts that you're following, the things that you're following make you feel worse rather than better, and they don't motivate you and move you in the right direction, you want to unfollow. Anytime you look at or follow or have this connection with someone and it leaves you feeling that you're not good enough, that's not a good time or place to be spending your energy. But you'll notice if you have anxiety that you do this, and it is really good to take a break from social media every once in a while, or to have an unfollow day where you go through and you look at all the accounts that when you look at, you don't feel good about yourself. So make sure that's included in self-care. It's not fake eyelashes and manicures. Sometimes it's simply an unfollow day. But you'll notice if you have anxiety, you have a tendency to do that, to compare yourself to others. You'll notice it leads to insomnia, having really difficult time either falling asleep or staying asleep. And sleep is nature's restorer. It's the way that it's a beautiful gift from nature that says, here, rejuvenate, restore yourself every day. But if you have anxiety, find it difficult to fall asleep or stay asleep. And it's quite interesting because in the beginning of working together, I send you what's called a primary relaxation recording, and taps into your subconscious mind and allows you to really do just that. Most people laugh and say, I don't even know what you said enough, but I have never slept so well in my life. Like, I cannot remember the last time I slept that well. And it's simply your body, your mind connecting to what you need most, alleviating that anxiety so that you can get the sleep that you need so your body can rejuvenate, refresh, restore, renew, all the things, right? And means to do it again. So you need that. But if you experience or suffer anxiety, and there's different levels, specifically high functioning anxiety, that can feel like a duck, where on the surface, you just see the duck gliding across the water, calm, cool, smooth, collected. But if you were to look underneath the surface, what is causing that duck to propel and move across the water? Its feet are going like this. It's not simply just automatically going across the water. Its feet are moving, are working. And you may notice that that's how you feel that you live your life. On the top, and on the outside, you look calm, cool, collected. You look like you've got it together. But if you were really to look below the surface, there's a lot of this going on, but you're out there smiling. How are you? Really good. How are you? So that is what anxiety can feel like, is all of those things. And if you're experiencing that and you've tried these things, you've tried meditation, you've tried journaling, you've tried affirmations, all of these things, and you still feel like you're going like this, there's something deeper going on in your subconscious mind. Anxiety does have a protective mechanism. It does have a component of being able to motivate you, to condition you, to get you up and get you out and do the things that you need to do to survive, right? Like to get to work and all of these things. But if there's too much of it, if the scale is off balance, that's where anxiety really becomes a problem and becomes a detriment. And you obviously experience this if you're in relationships with a narcissist. Your anxiety is through the roof. It's just completely shattered because you're constantly experiencing all of these things. The need for reassurance, ruminating on the negative thoughts, the past thoughts. You're experiencing physical, mental fatigue. So they go hand in hand, unfortunately, and I know that because I experienced that, with very, very narcissistic relationships in the past. But if you're tired of trying to pretend that you're this duck gliding across the water, and you have it all together and you don't, and you feel like underneath you're just spinning your wheels and just gonna crash, like you can't do it anymore, then that is where really doing the powerful inner work to change makes all the difference. So yeah, first of all, it takes getting out of that relationship with a narcissist, because you can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. Go no contact, extreme limited contact. If you have a child, email, just basic facts, transit, business-like. But when you're left with all that anxiety, even after that, that is where you have the space and time to do the work. So if that's you're interested in learning more about RTT or hypnosis, to do that, please click on the link in the description on the banner, and it'll pull up my schedule, and we can chat, connect more. But hopefully maybe this gives you some help on what you're experiencing, where it comes from, why, and what to do about it.